Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to Ellen Foundation's Unheard Voices television program. We're in our second season, and I am so excited to be back with you guys, and excited about the guests that we're going to have throughout this second season. As just a reminder, Unheard Voices is about the community, so we're going to talk about what's important to the community, what's important to helping our families and to thrive and to continue on to grow. Join the conversation, 240-719-2560. Definitely want you to call in and join us. So I'm so excited. Second season. This gentleman right here, who is actually one of my speakers for the upcoming 2019 STEAM event. He's the president, founder, co-founder.
Just president.
Yes, president. And of the BCD initiative. I'm gonna get it. This whole clock thing is just totally throwing me off. So I'm just kind of working it out here. So definitely. So you know what? I'm jacked up. So I'm gonna let you go.
It's all good. It's all good. That's what happens sometimes with time, you know.
I know. It's like I want to be in the bed still sleeping. My bed is still calling me. It's like, Pam, you got to
But you made it here.
I know. I'm so sorry. It's Akeem Ma'at.
Yes.
So
Akeem Ma'at.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining.
Absolutely.
And he's no stranger to Unheard Voices. He's been with me before. And I found it imperative to bring him back on to really talk in detail more about the education and the importance of reading and getting our students, our young people, not even just our young people, but our adults back into reading and just to continue to bring the knowledge. And I know, with so many technologies, with all the technologies, it's easy to, just flip up something and read. But there's nothing like picking up a book,
absolutely,
thumbing through those things. And I don't know, I like to read the hardcover or the softback myself because it allows you to draw in even more. Not to say that the technology doesn't, but you can, you have more. Just thumbing through the and the touch of the pages. So, welcome. Thank you so much for joining on the starting the second season. And please forgive me. I mean, as time goes on, that's the clock.
Settle down.
I know. It's like, to me, it's still only 10:30, but in true, it's 11:30. So, welcome everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me again.
Just go in and share what you do, and then we'll have the conversation from there.
Absolutely. Well, BCDIDC, and it can trip people up at times with the acronym, but it stands for the Black Child Development Institute, DC. As we talked before on the radio show, certainly the organization overall has been around for 48 years.
Yes.
We here in the DC area are a chartered affiliate of the National Black Child Development Institute. And so we've had some very important work cut out before us. And as we talked before, that work is built around literacy. And currently we do, in my opinion, strong opinion, and a lot of other professionals' opinion, have a crisis that we're facing, particularly for our children. Many of them are reading below grade level. And so through BCDIDC, we created an initiative called the Bookshelf Project. That initiative is designed to help support families in creating in-home libraries. So when you speak to actually having a book, a physical book, that's very important and key to getting children to develop and appreciate reading. And so by developing good reading habits in the home, or supporting parents in developing good reading habits in the home, we pretty much are comfortable with saying that our children will then go on to develop better reading habits themselves as adults.
What have you found with, like, the numbers? I'm a numbers guy and person, and I just, because I know a lot of our students, they really don't read anymore. They're really involved in a lot of other aspects of you know, quick, you know, go to Wikipedia, and then a lot of times that stuff's not right. But do you know the number as to how students have grown, how they've evolved with having books in the home versus not? Do you know that?
Specific numbers, no, but the number, a particular number that certainly stands out is that, you know, there's 61% of homes, where children do not grow up with books in the home. So we already know that that is a huge deficit in itself. And so by, you know, as I said, creating opportunities for families through the Bookshelf Project, we try to, or will try to, compensate by ensuring that those children who are not accessing books regularly are able to. But certainly we know that we have, you know, more than 3/4 of our students still falling behind and not on grade level. And so this is something that we cannot continue to see because as much as we know it's impacting us as an African American community, overall, society, certainly it doesn't benefit us as a society to have this many children who are not able to be on grade level reading.
What are the grade levels? Are you like from pre-K or kindergarten? Because, you know, that's a good time to really start putting into them on up to what? College bound, high school? What's the span of the books in which you like to get into the family's homes?
Absolutely. So for us, our target age is between birth through 5th grade or birth through 12 years old for the most part. But you know, when we look at the data says that, you know, by the 3rd grade, if a child is not reading on grade level by the 3rd grade, then the chances of them succeeding throughout the rest of their academic career begins to diminish. And certainly then they're more prone to, you know, dropping out of school. And then clearly that, you know, as they matriculate through school, and we also know that there are plenty of students who do manage to graduate from high school and even get accepted into college, but with that deficiency are in remedial college courses that also can, you know, sort of be a challenge and, you know, cause them in some cases to probably drop out or just need a great deal of extra support.
Wow. That's interesting too, that what you just mentioned about how they just barely being able to get through school because of their lack of reading. How do the books get into the home? Now, I know this is a fairly new project, and I'm very excited about it, and that's actually the reason why Ellen Foundation reached out to you, because we saw what you're doing to put back into the community. So walk us through how you get these books into the families' homes.
Absolutely. So one of the most important things to us as well is ensuring that we are curating books that are culturally relevant and responsive. You know, so books that are written by African American authors, books that have illustrations that are African American illustrations, or, you know, obviously illustrations that the children can identify with and relate to, skin tone, hair texture. You know, those things matter when children pick up books because they can see themselves. And so we've been fortunate in some sense where our national organization has been able to procure books or secure books through Scholastics. That's how we launched it. We received over 500 plus books in donations.
The Scholastic books, like we're a long time ago, they would send. Really?
Yeah.
That's still around?
Yeah, Scholastics is still around.
Oh my gosh! I remember we used to get the little thing home from school, like what books you want to order.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh!
So,
I
yeah,
didn't know that was still around.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So that's a source. Another source that sort of is new, but it's been around, and you know, I'm growing more and more familiar with it. But First Books is a national organization that also has opportunities for organizations, teachers, to be able to secure books or purchase books at a very low cost. And so we kind of go through these types of sources. The other plus and benefit to the work that we're doing is we are meeting a lot of new authors. So there's a lot of authors, particularly in the DMV area, that have written children's books that are dedicated to African American children. And so we seek to, you know, collect or obtain donations from them. And through those types of efforts, we're able to use those books to be a part of the in-home library that we're trying to create. There's a data point that speaks to the fact that children who are exposed to at least 20 books or more have an opportunity to increase academically 2 and 3 grade levels. So it has been our goal with creating the in-home libraries to at least start the family out with at least 20 books. We haven't quite reached that goal, as you can imagine. Fundraising and being able to, get a significant amount of books is, the part of the challenge. But we still have been distributing the bookshelves, and we still have been distributing what books that we are able to have available. And so, yeah.
How did you get involved in this? Like, I know your background, but what particularly drew you into wanting to do this? I mean, everybody's got a story as to what leads them to do what they do to put back in the community. So I'm just curious, what drew you into this?
Well, I would say one part, it was always in my heart. I often refer to a story or incident when I was a child, and I just watched a mother who had 2 children, and we kind of knew in the community she was someone who, had some sort of mental challenges, but still in all, you can see that she was a committed mother to her children. And, I was not allowed to cross the street for any reason. And this particular day, I watched her, going up the street, pushing this cart with groceries, and the children were behind her with bags. And it was something about that. And it always reminds me of why I do this work. I kind of teared up because I wanted to help, and I couldn't.
You couldn't help her.
And the reason for that was because my mom didn't want me to cross the street for safety reasons. But nonetheless, that same spirit traveled with me throughout, and I've, in one way or another, have been involved in the community. And so I just recognized that at a certain point, it's my responsibility to be involved and to do something. And so by the time I, finished school and I had taken a significant amount of courses in entrepreneurship and entrepreneur development, that was truly my entry into youth development and working with children officially. Although I was a mentor and all that, but that was my official.
The official capacity. Yep. Wow. Yeah. For me, I'm always interested into how someone gets from point A to point B to turn around and put back into the community. Like for me with Ellen Foundation, Ellen Foundation's pretty much my life, from when I left Connecticut to move here, and then all the things that transpired as now a single mom trying to raise a family, and all the hardships and all the things that it just made me more aware. Yes. The struggles that are in the community when you go to the state or when you go to the school, their hands are tied. Yes. And so for me, when God had placed in my heart to do this, of course I was like, what? Right, it's like, absolutely not. I'm not going to do this. But I understood the reasoning behind, because like you get stirred up about it. Yep. And it makes it easier for when someone comes to you to say, hey, can you help us? Can you help my child? It makes it easier to say, I understand. Absolutely. I get you. Yep. So kudos to you on that. That's really, really important on in working with the families. Yes. Yeah. So how many bookcases are you looking to do to get into our homes? And
so our modest goal has been to distribute and create 500 in-home libraries a year. So we recognize that.
This is your first year, right?
Yeah, this is sort of our going. We piloted it in December of 17, and went through all of 2018 working to distribute over, I would say, 200 bookshelves. So we didn't quite meet our goal, but that's been our goal. And so definitely to purchase, have it on stock in our storage, that many bookshelves, and then through various events. So the way in which we've done the implementation has been through what the Bookshelf Project is, and that is an event that we were having on a sort of bi-monthly basis where families come to the event. We partner with other schools, with other community-based organizations, and by hosting us, we are able to access the families that are either participating, obviously, in the school, or parents of the school, or participating in the particular program, or it's open to the public in general as well. So we market it to the public. And when they come to the event, they have an opportunity to be a part of what we call table talk sessions, because it is extremely important that we support families and parents around literacy and the things that impact their children in reading or impact them as a family. So talking about discipline and what that looks like in the home. That's another thing you and I talked about in terms of trauma, and certain levels of discipline leave a significant amount of trauma amongst our children. Being able to develop habits such as words on the go. As busy parents, we often think we don't have enough time to expose our children to new vocabulary or new words. And for our early learners, whose brains are so palatable so early.
Right, they're like a sponge.
Like a sponge.
And yeah, so you just want to make sure that instead of putting them in front of the television, give them something tangible.
Absolutely. It's stimulating and constantly stimulating. Our children will ask hundreds and hundreds of questions. And as a parent, you have to have the capacity to be able to respond to those questions, not out of frustration, but out of the reality that my child is learning and developing and their brain is growing. So yes, as a parent, you want to be able to continue to feed that. So our table talk discussions sort of center around those types of things. So therefore, parents leave with the ability to go home and implement some of these things. But then also at the event, it's sort of festive for the children. We have a little bit of entertainment, for the children. But then they also get to, at sometimes, in some cases, I should say, personalize the bookshelf. So they basically
that's
have been,
awesome. That's really awesome. Now, is it just in DC or anyone in the DMV area can come to you? How can someone come to you and say, "Hey, I want a bookshelf in my house. This is an important piece, and I think I want to get involved in this." Where can they start?
Sure. Well, as I've said before, based on our capacity, we've been sort of central to DC, but the Black Child Development Institute DC Metro is sort of responsible, or our territory, so to speak, is DC, Maryland, and some parts of Virginia, of course. We haven't been able to reach that far, but we have had people from those areas come to our events, and we have not necessarily turned anyone away. The best way to reach me is through social media, email, and through that, we can establish the communication and determine whether or not we have sufficient amount to distribute. Now, I say that if you're reaching out as a part of a program and you want us to come and support you in that capacity, then the discussions will begin and we will determine if we can have that. If you're a parent and we have enough in stock and inventory and books, then certainly, we're more than interested in ensuring that you get the same thing that we are doing within the DC area.
What's the cost on the shelves here?
So right now, based on where we get the bookshelves from, we initially started at IKEA, and the price point was about $17 or $18. Unfortunately, IKEA has stopped making the particular bookshelves that were economical for us to get. The next level up bookshelves that they were offering was about $40. So that's a side conversation I'm trying to have with them to ensure that this is the point that we're making, that we want to be able to create in-home libraries, but if we can't afford the bookshelves, and I'm not just saying us, any parent may want to go and start an in-home library, but that will become a barrier. But nonetheless, we then went to Target, and Target currently has a smaller version of a bookshelf, and that's running about $25. So in terms of asking the public for support, we're not trying to go above a $25 bookshelf, and that currently is what the cost is for bookshelf. Getting books, and because we're going through first books, we can get them for about $5. And so overall, what we did in terms of a package, we said, all right, if you want to donate, you can donate $25, that'll get us a bookshelf. If you just want to donate for books, that's fine. That's $5, a book, however many you want to donate. But then also to really touch that data point of at least 20 books that the children would get, we say donate $100 and $25, and that will give the books and the bookshelf as well. So that's kind of our fundraising, our sponsorship level currently, and we hope that that's feasible for a significant amount of the population, which we believe really is.
It's good. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We want to pick this up in just a couple of minutes because how we're going to get you to those books and so we're going to talk about that in our next segment. Sure. So just hold on, we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break.
In 2018, I personally helped several people reclaim their healthy lives with a ketogenic lifestyle. Together with our team at Wakaya Perfection, we have helped over 4,000 people struggling with weight loss, burn off unwanted fat naturally, control hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and high cholesterol with our Beulah Fit Keto Fuel Shake and high-impact ginger and turmeric. Contact me for yours. Buttons about that ketolife.mywakaya.com. That's BUTTONSBOUTTATEATHETITOLIFE.MYWAKAYA.com or call 202-875-3926.
Your business and promote your products and services? VoxWave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
VoxWave now features a streaming radio media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, I'm Pam Price. I'm the host of Unheard Voices, and I'm here with Akeem Mayat. I cannot get it right? And we're talking about the importance of literacy in a child's development. And earlier in our first segment, we just shared a little bit tidbits on the importance of making sure we get that hard book into your child's hand to help them develop. And we talked about the importance of this program, this project in which Akeem is doing with his team. So where I want to pick up on this end is that you mentioned to get a bookcase that is filled with books is $125. And that will be, that's important to get into a family's home. Family, I know times are really hard, but the importance of making sure your child develops properly, it comes with having that book in your hand. And just quickly looking, the statistics done by PBS, it shows that 85% of our children today have a problem with reading, and I think that goes along with your numbers in which you said earlier. Mm-hmm. And having this development, the books help stimulate the mind, and it allows them to develop, to keep them on track, or else they're going to have a lot of problems growing in school. Mm-hmm. So what we want to do, what Ellen Foundation is going to do, and family, definitely would love for you to come on out to this presentation, is Ellen Foundation is going to sponsor 10 families.
Awesome.
Okay?
Awesome.
Definitely. And we're going to make this presentation on April 20th at our STEAM event, where Akeem's going to be speaking and touching more on the importance of the books. So let's kind of pick up some more about some other things in which you guys are going to do in your program and how you're going to help develop these kids.
Sure. And first and foremost, thank you for that awesome contribution. Certainly, it's going to go a long way to supporting the initiative and the families that will be impacted. The goal for the year is certainly to continue to accumulate and support as many families as we can. As I said, 500 bookshelves is essentially 500 families that we want to be able to touch. And so, in addition to that, I just want to add that, we recognize that parents, particularly in our community, based on, social economic conditions, are, sort of stressed and strapped in a lot of ways, and just even the time, so we also advocate for, and so do a lot of other, professionals and research outlets, that, at least 15 minutes of time a day with their children reading goes a long way to building, their vocabulary and exposure to literacy. And so what we've done also is created what we call the My Child Can Read Literacy Camp. Okay. And that supports and is sort of a part of the Bookshelf Project. It's just an extension of the project by offering parents an opportunity every other Saturday to bring their child to a particular community, which is in Southeast Washington, D.C., called Arborview Apartments. We just sort of launched this this past weekend. And so basically those families that participate will get a bookshelf. They will also get the books as well. But what we're doing there is just offering an opportunity to mentor the children and, continue to cultivate that love for reading, because that's the biggest factor as well. One of the, data points speaks to the fact that, the behavior change that will sort of impact our children in scoring has to do with their access to books and their exposure to books. So we cannot sort of belittle that reality that it is just the mere presence often of books that will make a difference in our children's lives. And so that overall is our ultimate goal. So any support, any commitment to the My Child Can Read Literacy Camp that we get will go a long way. And as we already know, this is significant to our community, to African Americans overall. And for me, I often, feel a significant kind of way when I look historically how our ancestors fought extremely hard to gain access to literature, to be able to read. And now it seems like we're reverting in a way in which puts us clearly at a disadvantage. And that just doesn't make a lot of sense. And so I'm hopeful for our efforts. I'm hopeful for the partnerships in being able to turn this around, because I also recognize that historically, although we were enslaved for, well over 300 years, we educated ourselves in the least amount of time, where we've seen our communities begin to thrive and build and support one another. So I'm hopeful that, through our efforts, we will be able to sort of turn this thing around and have a different narrative in the next 15 years that certainly speaks to the fact that our children are reading and can read. And that was the motto of our camp yesterday. Our children all recited, "I can read, and I can also become an author."
That's great. That's really good. And while you were speaking, it was, I was just thinking about when I decided to return back to college. And my major and my certification is in psychology. So my first thought was like, oh my gosh, I gotta learn to read. Now, I've been out of college forever, out of high school, and then, life, and then decided, hey, I'm gonna go back to school. But my first thought was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go back to school because now I have to go back to reading. And what I found myself, and it could be with children and also with adults that are returning back to school, because this is an important piece for those that decide to go back to school as well, is that I found going back to reading all these books and understanding, because math and all that stuff is not like it was when I was in school.
Sure. Nope.
So it becomes very intimidating where, and even when students nowadays bring home their work from school, and a parent who is just, looking at this, it becomes very overwhelming.
Sure.
So for me, what I ended up doing, and just a suggestion that I found which works, is just, I just went and started reading just stuff. I would be like stuff that appealed to me. And next thing I know, I was like, started off with little books like this. And then I ended up reading like novels, like what and can go through. And so now, as I shared earlier, I had moved over the weekend, and the movers, they're because it wasn't marked books were in them, right? I just put heavy, right? So when the guy saw, he was like, "What do you got in these boxes?" I'm like, "Books," and he was like, "Oh my gosh, you read that much?" And I said, "Yeah," and I love to escape from the technology, and it allows to build up that creative side of the brain, which is important to stay stimulated while you're doing all these other things. So, I just encourage families and parents who are just starting to get back into the reading and looking for ways to get their kids involved, is to find something that is, just not intimidating, something they like. Sesame Street books and and all these other things, and help introduce them to some bigger ways to reading.
And that's key. It's about habits, forming really good habits, and being cognizant of the things that we do. So one of the things, I was in discussion with someone recently, and so think for a moment about a parent who your child may have had some issue at school, and so they come home and you say, well, you do your homework and then you go in your room and you read.
Yeah.
Now, as a parent, you feel as though you're doing the right thing, and in most cases you are. But the psychological impact or the negative impact to that child is that reading is a punishment.
Right.
And so we have to be cognizant of that type of, response.
That's a great point out.
Where, we're, as much as you are sort of putting your child in a position where if they can't do X, Y, and Z, then they should go and read. But it has to be structured in a way where they can appreciate it. And that's sort of the problem that we have, where our young folks don't appreciate reading. They see it as a punishment, and so therefore,
that's a great point out, because it does seem like go in your room and read as a punishment, but in essence it unlocks the mind for imagination. So that's important there. That is really important. So now, how can people really get in touch with you, and if they want to volunteer and do more hands-on, or even come out and be a part of your Saturday classes there?
Absolutely. So you can definitely follow us on Instagram, Black Child Development Institute, or I should say Black Child Development. You can also email me directly at Ihkeem, IHKEEM, at bcdidc.org. It's all good. We're on Twitter. Phone number is public, 202-808-6273. And again, if you're interested in participating in any way, we can use all the volunteers that are willing and able to come out and assist.
What time on Saturdays?
So Saturday between 10 and 2.
Okay.
And certainly we have a sort of scheduled format. The goal is when they come in, they participate in Harambe, and everything is sort of geared towards reading. So what we decided, even for breakfast, we'll work with the children to create their own breakfast. So there's granola bars, there's recipes and instructions that go with that allow the children to read. And it's not, one of the other things that's stressing with that is that if you are interested in volunteering, it is about having fun with the children around reading. Again, taking away that idea that reading is some unpleasurable thing or is a punishment or shouldn't be fun. And so, yes, we are at this point in society where it is all hands on deck. And, given our emphasis on black children and black families, it's very critical that more of us show up. And I know I say this often, I don't come with a big name, and a lot of folks don't know who I am or the organization. Because that's another thing that we faced as well, is that, a lot of folks weren't, familiar with the National Black Child Development Institute. And then you also got folks who are a little apprehensive, for whatever reason.
Because they don't know.
Yeah. So we encourage everyone, come out and be a part of this. And bring your spirit, bring your energy and effort to this movement, because that's what the Bookshelf Project has become in moving in that direction as a movement.
That's awesome. And I'm excited that the Ellen Foundation is going to put give 10 families books to do.
And you'll know those families. That's the thing.
Oh, really?
You'll get to know them, because in our community that we're in now, that's been our goal. They have well over 200 units. So families that are interested, we're not going to force them. They will come through the community center. Ms. Cora Clark, who runs the community center there, wonderful woman, and they will sign up, and we'll have them have an opportunity to come and be a part of the workshop, because we'll actually do a workshop, and that'll be a chance for the foundation to come and meet and actually talk about what you do as well, and for the families to see that this is a
that's exciting.
Yes,
that's really exciting. So family, connect with Akeem and what they're doing in the community. Very important to read, and so I'm excited about what you're doing, and I'm glad that we started following each other on social media, because that's how, for me, as I look at other organizations in which Ellen Foundation can come in and partner, I'm always fascinated as to how and what they're doing, and the importance of the work of what they're doing to get back. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
So I know we got something important coming up. So I'm really excited. And family, again, Ellen Foundation has its 2019 Spring Youth Conference STEAM event coming up very soon. It's April 20th. And we're going to host it right there at the College Park Marriott Conference Center. So I'm excited to have you as one of our speakers, and to go into what you're talking about, and get our students involved in not only reading, as I mentioned earlier, the importance of reading. It stimulates that science side, but also we're going to be talking about technology and engineering piece, and of course we're going to have DJ 5-Star and Quentin Q Local Productions come out and talk about media and that aspect. And what I love about this event is that usually what I like to do is bring out the males, because our young people like to see strong male people that are individuals that are interested in what they do. And it's different, it's different than a men's conference or something, because so many families are single family families, which are, majority of them are ran by the woman. And here, they get to see, it's like, hey, there are some strong male positive role models, and that's what we want to provide. So along with that, I know you're going to be talking about this. I know you're going to be bringing some additional games and things for our young people to get involved with, correct?
Absolutely. There is a new game that we were introduced to by a woman named Sharif, who has a consulting firm. And the game is What's in a Sentence? And it works to support children in building sentences. And so this is a fun game that we hope to present and introduce the children to, and add a little competitive nature to it, because it's not a lot of rules. The only thing is that your sentence sort of has to make sense or be a sentence. But you will find that it draws from various topics and adjectives and different words that can be used and you just have to create the sense. So we'll
helps develop their vocabulary.
Absolutely, helps develop vocabulary for sure. So we'll be introducing that because this is a part of the Bookshelf Project. We did partner with her and the organization to promote this particular game because we believe it is an essential game that will benefit the children. That's
exciting. Yeah, I love this part now as Ellen Foundation begins to get very busy and to fall into the season and do more with our young people and as well with our women. As I mentioned, we have DJ 5-Star that comes out, and what he does is that he uses his turntables to teach students the importance of math and timing and the engineering piece, where I'm sitting there is like, how in the world, that's ingenious, because it uses what they, take the music that they're listening to now and then turn it around and allows them to understand, hey, here's the cadence, what's the count, how to count, and then put it all together again. So that's ingenious. And Kulo, the fantastic photographer. He's actually my photographer, one of my photographers. Let me make sure I state that. Sorry. And he's going to come in and talk about the arts, more the arts piece in the media, and how our young people can go in and begin to look at that as something that they want to do, and that they can do it. Because through this, we want to make sure Ellen Foundation wants to make sure that young people know that they can put their mind to doing anything, that they can achieve it. You just have to understand the process to get from point A to point B. We've partnered with iFly, which is great. So iFly is coming in, and usually Ellen Foundation gives away 2 scholarships at the youth conference, but this year, for this spring event, we're only going to give away 1 scholarship because we've partnered not only with you guys, but with iFly. iFly is donating 15 tickets for our fall STEM event, which will allow the students to come in, be a part of, experience that jump. I've never been in this, and I've heard that this is something spectacular where you get so you can go in and do your jumps, and it's all about more of the hands-on and the science and the technology. So family, please come on out to that event. You can go on to our website, which is www.thelmfoundation.org. Make sure you register. Let us know how many students you have coming or how many children you have coming, so that way he'll be ready for his game. I'm going to do a game too. I always do a STEM event, a strategy event with our young people. So definitely I'm excited to have you on. What else do you have coming up?
Well, as I said, in the beginning, in terms of how I got involved, I, cannot not mention the fact that, youth entrepreneurship education is an important part of the work that we're doing. And so that is another sort of up-and-coming piece. Actually, this week, we'll be kicking off another after-school program. And so that is sort of tied into the BCDI work because I'm an integral part of the BCDI organization. But certainly, we're going to stick with our focus on getting as many bookshelves as we possibly can by the end of the year.
Okay.
And so therefore, going into 2020, or I should say 2019, 2020, we will be on target for our implementation strategy.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not going to add very much more. Certainly, if we have more people who join us and join the team, that will allow us to do more. But for the most part,
Give them your phone number again.
Absolutely. 202-808-6273. And also, I think I didn't mention the website, www.bcdidc.org.
Well, thank you again for coming out. Definitely to help kick off the second season. So I'm really excited. So family, again, we have the our youth conference coming up, which is April 20th. Then we're going to have our women's conference, which is the following month, which is May 4th. and we have some dynamic speakers that are going to come out. I'm actually going to be a speaker. Usually I don't speak.
Yeah.
Usually I don't speak because it's just like, oh man, I got to get out there. Yeah, well, that's because I'm a mush, and I'll start talking, and I'll be, be crying and everything. I'll talk. But we have some dynamic speakers that are coming out. We have, we're blessed to have Apostle Vero Howard. She's actually Dietrich Haddon's manager, and she's phenomenal. She's in this area, and she's also going to be one of the speakers. I got to see the updated flyer.
Awesome, yeah.
So we're excited to have her be a part of it. We have Janine Powell, who's part of Jones House of Refuge here in Prince George's County. My really good friend who has a radio show out of New York, Nigeria Anderson's going to come down and host. Erica Saleh, who's CEO of True Transformation. Gosh, I'm trying to do this from memory. I feel like I'm on spot here trying to remember, and they're going to kill me if I forget.
They're all dynamic, for
I
sure.
know, they are. So definitely go on to Ellen Foundation's website, www.thelmfoundation.org. Please come on out, support the event as we continue to put into the community.
Absolutely.
Because that's what we want to do.
Absolutely.
And I'm so glad we're going to partner with you. And guys, you know what? We're done for the day. I'm going back to bed. I know. I know. We're almost into spring, so family, continue to be blessed. Continue to stay focused. I pray that you guys have a great rest of your day. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next month on second Sunday. Bye now.
All right.
In 2018, I personally helped several people reclaim their healthy lives with a ketogenic lifestyle. Together with our team at Wakaya Perfection, we have helped over 4,000 people struggling with weight loss, burn off unwanted fat naturally, control hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and high cholesterol with our Beulah Fit Keto Fuel Shake and high-impact ginger and turmeric. Contact me for yours. Buttons about that ketolife.mywakaya.com. That's BUTTONSBOUTTATECHATEMYWAKAYA.com or call 202-875-3926.